So as you've heard a bit about my background. I didn't know the bio would be read, but thank you so much. I bring you greetings from the East Coast, where I spent my life before coming to the West Coast, to the Pacific Northwest. I'm originally from the other Washington. I'm a native. When I say I'm a native Washingtonian in this region, I have to qualify that statement by saying I'm a native of Washington, D.C. I grew up in the District of Columbia. I'll tell you a joke here. Some years ago, they decided they wanted to be known as the District of Columbia, and so they changed the license plates and the driver's license and IDs to say the District of Columbia. And then people had trouble getting back into the country. District of Columbia, I am not kidding. So they had to change it back to Washington, D.C. That said, I'm thrilled to be here in Seattle in the role of president of South Seattle College. I spent my career, over 30 years of experience in higher education. I started my career at Georgetown University, so I was in the university sector. And then I got my calling to do my life's work, which is around social justice and around service to students, and really making sure that those who are the most marginalized in our community had an opportunity to be exposed to higher education. And the one thing I love about the community college environment is just that. People are able to come to the community college no matter age or stage of life. And so some years ago, I heard that calling and leaned into it and started my work in the community college environment, and that is work that I continue to do to this day. I had no idea that that work would lead me to relocate to Seattle. I've always had a fondness for Seattle, and anytime I had an opportunity to visit here, I enjoyed it. I never imagined living here, however. But last year, the Seattle colleges did a search for 3 presidents at one time. So I was on the presidential journey. I had gone through the what is in that industry, the training, had put in years of experience, had people who saw in me what I didn't at that time see in myself, but really helped position me for the opportunity here. And I was so intrigued by this idea, although I thought it was bizarre that anyone would search for 3 presidents at one time, but it was bizarre enough that I wanted to learn more. So I threw my hat into the ring. And lo and behold, I was invited for the interview and really got a great feeling for South Seattle College. And then I was invited to visit the college, and during that visit, simply asked in my interview about this idea of hiring for 3 presidents at one time. And what initially seemed quite bizarre was actually brilliant. And, it was the idea of being crazy like a fox. The chancellor, who is the former president at South Seattle College, she wanted to bring 3 presidents on at the same time to create a cohort of individuals who would work together to lead the 3 colleges, that is North, Central, and South. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. As an educator, I love cohorts. As a student, I did well in cohort models, and so being able to participate in a search that would bring 3 new presidents to the Seattle colleges was something that I was very interested in, and fortunately they were also quite interested in me. And so today marks, as I said, my 173rd day as president of South Seattle College. And you've heard my background, so I won't get into that. But I appreciate the invitation to be here. Thank you so much, President, from one president to the other, for the warm welcome and for the opportunity to talk about what for me is why I do this work along with my colleagues who have joined me here. And it's about our students. And it's about what we get to do every single day. I love that you all get scholarships, and it was so wonderful to see the 4 students, the senior high school students who had just received scholarships, and the great work that you do in the community that aligns with the work that we do as well as South Seattle College. And so you heard some of the connections between the Rotary Club and South, and I'll talk with some of the members who have been here, presidents, faculty, board members, but I'll talk a bit more about the college in general in case you don't know a great deal more than what you've heard, or for some of you, this may be the first that you've heard about South. And I say that because one of the things that I've learned is South is not very well known. And as I said, as someone new to the colleges, I'm not interested in South Seattle College being the best kept secret at all, because there's so much that we can do. The work that we do helps position students for success. It helps position their families for success. And ultimately, it supports the community, and it certainly supports economic development. So how do we get to do that at South? Well, as many of you may know, South is on this lovely hill, 63 acres of land. If you haven't visited, I'd love to do something that will bring you to South so you can visit us. We have a number of wonderful academic programs. We have great student support services. Many of our programs, as we think about student needs, and one of the things that we've done in the academy, I would say over the last 20 years, something that we've really come to realize is that student success is not only about what happens in the classroom. Ultimately, that's what students are graded on, and that's what allows them to complete successfully what they started, whether they started out for a degree or a program of study, a certification, a trade, or reskilling, if that's in fact what they're interested in. And then there's some people who come to us because they have personal interests and they want to take a class just for their own personal interests. So we serve all students, everyone from every walk of life, and students get to come to us along many pathways, and we're there to serve them and to help them get to that point of completion. And with that said, a lot of the programs that we offer, in addition to our academic programs, which I'll talk about, our students come to us with many needs, and especially today. This was even before the pandemic. But since the pandemic, even more of our students show up with greater needs, greater basic needs, greater mental health needs. And that's not only here in Washington, in Seattle, or at South Seattle College. That's nationally. And so the Academy realized I would say maybe 20 years ago, we started to realize what we once said wasn't our work, it wasn't our responsibility. We then realized, but it is. Because if students are to be successful in class, then they need their basic needs met. Students who are unhoused, students who, we just had a wonderful lunch, and thank you so much for lunch. The plates were indeed warm, yes, and warm up the table and all, and the food was delicious. But when students don't know when they're getting their next meal, and you know, they're expected to perform in class when in fact you haven't had a solid meal, a healthy meal, and don't know where your next meal will come from. That impacts student success. As I said, student basic needs in general, and especially with our unhoused students, and that's not in what students have taught us. It's not that they don't have a roof over their head. They may be couch surfing. So when you talk about being unhoused, it means they don't have consistent housing, housing where they know from day in and day out, this is where they live. And so we have those students in our midst at Sal, and just thinking about how we wrap our arms around them financially. What are their financial needs in terms of being able to pay for tuition? Clubs like yours, people like those of you here in this room who contribute to scholarship opportunities, make it possible for our students to be successful. Now, as I talk about our students, because that's the hard work that we get to do, I'll also share a little about some of the opportunities at Sal. We focus on skilled trades, and we have a magnificent aviation maintenance program. If you're not aware of that program, it is outstanding. And we have a diesel and heavy equipment maintenance program, landscape and horticulture programs that started back when the college opened in 1969. And we are still offering those programs today. As a matter of fact, we've perfected those programs. We have apprenticeship programs, the largest in the state of Washington, our offerings at our Georgetown campus. And then we have our transfer programs, classes that students take in order to transfer and prepare to transfer to a four-year university. Many of our students go on to UW as an alum of Georgetown University. I'm proud to say that we have students who are transferring to Georgetown University. I wrote a recommendation letter for one of our students recently who's transferring to Georgetown University. And so we prepare students to be able to transfer to four-year schools. And I'll say this, having worked in the four-year sector and having worked in the community college sector, students transferring from community colleges as a group have the highest success rate than any other student group. So when they transfer on to four-year colleges, they are ready. We have prepared them well, and they are more successful in comparison to what we call native students. What we call native students, those who go directly to the four-year environment. And that's because of a lot of the support that we wrap around them. And four-year schools are starting to really understand that as well, that it is our business. Higher education as a sector understands what our students need, both academically and both personally. And so a lot of the work that we're doing at South Seattle College is in line, of course, with the Seattle colleges, and we're the largest district in the state of Washington, and we have phenomenal programs. We recently did a fundraiser with the Mariners, Stay in the Game program, where we were able to, as a fundraiser, and we're able to give scholarships and such, but it's to be able to support our high school students, who our Running Start students who come as high school students, and by the time they graduate from high school, guess what? They already have an AA degree. It's to give them a head start. It's to help them to be prepared, and then it propels them on to the next level. We have a wonderful wine academy at South. Okay, many of you know about it. It's one of the reasons I came here as well. Yes. So I'm just so proud of the great work that we our Vice President of Administrative Services. And again, my colleague who, one of my colleagues who was going to be here today but was unable to come after all, our Vice President of Instruction, and she gets to do the good work of working with our faculty to make sure, they are prepared to work with our students and to provide the type of instruction that is needed, that is instruction that recognizes the diverse students that we have in our midst and honors their diversity and recognize that it is a two-way street, that we learn as much from our students as they learn from us. And that all together makes for a very rich relationship and a rich educational environment. And so I just wanted to share with you some of the great work that we're doing at South Seattle College and open it up for any of your questions. Yes.
What's your student population and what percentage of that or whatever is the Running Start?
Yes, so our student population in terms of, I would say our average age is around 28. But we do have, adult students make up a good number of our students. But with the Running Start students,
About 450.
450 Running Start students. And that program, is an amazing program. And the support from the mayor's office, I would just say that support is continuing. As a matter of fact, they want us to broaden the program to allow more students to participate. It's an outstanding program. Absolutely. Yes. Question.
Do you still have the Chinese garden there, and is that part of your horticulture department?
It is not, but it's still there. So yes, it's still there. It's not a part of the horticultural program. It's a separate entity. It was actually the first event I attended. I arrived here August 1st. It's the first event that I attended at South. It is a lovely, lovely space, and Hip Win is actually the person who works closely with them on that event and also on the light show. Are you all familiar with the light show? Yes. Hip, would you like to say a few
It's a
words?
real attraction.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is amazing. I'll let him speak to it.
So I'm gonna do a little advertisement, free of charge for the Chinese garden. So last year was the first year that Astrolumina, or Fever, the company, approached the college and the Chinese garden to collaborate to have a light show here. We have our Christmas light here, but their light show is something different. It's more like a astronomical kind of effect. And you go there, and they set you up in like a 15-minute group. So even though it's crowded, you have your own groups to go through. And you have time to experience each section, and then I think they have 9 different sections. They have different music, different experience, and it's still going on till mid-March. But that's our partnership with the Chinese garden. We let them utilize, our facility or parking because they need a big parking space. And last year they brought a total of 120,000 visitors to West Seattle. So it goes back to you don't want to keep our college a secret. And that helps quite a bit. But also in this, it helps the Chinese garden and their mission to grow and what they want to build. And if you were to go there to visit them and you see what they're planning, it's huge. I think they're looking for like 15 or 20 million to build the next process. And it comes with a big old giant pond and all the structure. And the structure they have right now was actually built probably 10 years ago by actual Chinese artisans. So everything is true to Chinese garden, Chinese culture. So that's the partnership that we have with them, and it's great to have as our backyard. And we have the Kubota Garden in Seattle, but we don't really have a more prominent Chinese garden. So to have that right at West Seattle, right next to South, is a great thing to have. So that's all I have to say.
Question, Brian. So So you heard a little bit about the 50-year connection between this club and the college. Perhaps due to the pandemic, that connection may not be as strong as it has been over the years. What can we do to become more involved with the college and support you and the college?
Absolutely, and I listened to some of what you're doing in the community and thought about ways that we could connect on some of those things. Just with your scholarships, how you offer scholarships to students, I would love to see how we can partner with support for students, opportunities for students to learn from you all, to maybe do career fairs, to have some of you participate in those opportunities, to really help educate our students, to offer, I talked about apprenticeships that are offered at our Georgetown campus, but also internships for students and things of that sort, to allow our students to learn from you the ways in which, with our industry partners, being able to connect even with our faculty. A lot of the work that we do certainly requires us to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on in the community. One of the things that I'll highlight, I talked about our aviation program. Well, we just signed a deal that will have us, I think it's a 10-year deal, where we'll expand the work that we are doing, but being able to partner with those of you who have worked in the industry and various industries who might want to teach at South, who will come and speak to our students, as I talked about Career Day, but other opportunities. And I would love to hear from you all how you would like to connect with South. I'd really like to reconnect. I know during the pandemic, that there was some partnerships or connections that suffered, if you will, but here's the opportunity. It's why I'm getting out in the community to meet people and to think about ways that we can partner together to support West Seattle. We have our South Foundation, which is a big part of West Seattle, where they support our students with scholarships and such. So anything that will help support our students, help expose our students, help give them opportunities to grow and to develop leadership training opportunities and things of that nature, that would be very helpful. That's just off the top of my head, but I was really open to hearing from you all ways in which you think we can partner together and what we might be able to offer as an idea as well.
Yeah, cheers, Steve. Hey, one question over here. Are you good? All right. There's another question? Dwayne?
What I want to ask District Governor with lots of lip service, what the Rotary Club is so well connected with the college. We had a past president whose daughter married Jerry Brocky. Now that's getting pretty close. And for us to currently
I don't have
connect it,
any daughters.
well, you might have died. You don't know. And the reality is we used to have meetings at your luncheon. The culinary was very important to us.
Do you have heat there?
Well, no, I'm not talking about meetings, just luncheons.
We don't care, we're going.
Well, we need an invite, and I'll tell you one quick story. We had a Christmas program there where we exchanged gifts. And we were all there, we were having a good time, and I think we even were drinking a little bit of that wine that you specialize in.
That our students make.
Yes.
I might add, yes.
So anyway, we were also we're breaking up, and we were just chatting with each other, and the next thing they started picking up their presents. Well, it was so well decorated, there were nice flowers all over the place. The next thing, there wasn't a flower still there when we left. we walked out, and I don't know if that caused a break in it, but it was Christmas vacation, and who's gonna look at them in January?
Yeah, I agree. I think you're good.
Yeah.
I think you're
Well, I
good.
would like you to make the effort to say to your colleagues that you want somebody in your administrative area, that I'm looking at right here, to join our club. Don't get in the head
You have. And now I will extend an invitation for you all to come to South Seattle College, whether you want to hold a meeting or eat at the culinary. I mean, it's a fabulous place, and there's a lot of, when I think about the vision and the future of South Seattle College, that, as our dean, Brian, thinks about the culinary center being able to really serve West Seattle in a way that brings the community in to South and takes South into the community. That's the vision for South Seattle College, and one of the ways that I have really gotten to, and am getting to know the college, let me put it that way, I'm holding listening and learning sessions. So I've had, by the time we're done, there will have been 40 with the faculty and the staff, and also wanting to do that with the community. And so I'd love to have an opportunity to do that with some of the members of the Rotary Club, just to listen and to learn from you about the connection to South, but also any opportunity that we have to partner together.
We would very much welcome that. And we need to, one quick question?
Well, yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, I can be so quick.
Maybe sometimes. I'm the club administrator, and I would love to get in touch with you about how to schedule, or if you can get us contact information about how to schedule. I'm also the membership chair, so I would love to get in touch with us.
Yes, we would welcome the relationship. And again, we know you're busy, so thank you so much. We're grateful for your time today. Don't sit down just yet. Don't sit down just yet, Dr.